If you want an Italian car, there is plenty of choice out there. At the very top of the tree, there's Ferrari and Lamborghini and Pagani and guys like that. In the middle, Alfa Romeo. And if you are on, say, a budget, well, there's always Fiat, a company that makes a lot of cars for a lot of people that do a lot of things. But don't go thinking Fiat is without any fun. Take this, for example, the Abarth 500. It's a city car with a firecracker up its bum. Technically, it's not a Fiat, but an Abarth in its own right, which is confusing. To make things even more confusing, you can get Abarth 500s that aren't 500s, but 595s and 695s. The power you get goes all the way from the 140s to 190-ish, with myriad tweaks and options on board to make things as exciting as you like, or can afford. This is a 695C Rivale. And there's a lot going on in here. So under the hood is a 1.4 litre turbocharged motor with 178 brake horsepower and 184 pound-foot. 0 to 62 takes 6.9 seconds and it'll top out at 140 miles an hour, which is quite brisk actually. Now, if you're fans of MPGs and economy, you can get about 47 miles to the gallon out of it. Or if you're in America, about 39. So it's a bit quick, a bit brisk, and it won't punish you at the pumps for having something fast. But what about the Rivale bit? Well, Fiat loves itself a tie-in or two, and this is just the latest. See, this is a collaboration with Riva. They are making posh boats, and as such, there's some Riva-esque details dotted around the cabin. For example, rather than the carbon I've got in here, you can have Riva wood, and it comes in a very nautical blue, and you can even get a plaque to match your own Riva boat if you're the kind to buy a luxury superboat and then go, yeah, I'll have a Fiat to match. 175 hatches and 175 convertibles will be made, so get in quick if you want one. It's not all Riva bits in here though. At the back there's an Akrapovic exhaust, which sounds, well, incredible. This one has a limited slip differential fitted to it and Brembo brakes, because why not have Brembo brakes? Okay, the boat thing is a bit much, but the Abarth thing, that's what makes this car a bit special. See, Abarth and Fiat go way back, taking Fiat's motors and making them something more, something bigger. Abarth has made some leery road cars over the years and a whole heap of race winners. Some may say that the Abarth thing's a bit of a marketing ploy to get people who know who Carlo Abarth was into these cars, but I don't think that's quite the case, because it's really good fun. In sport mode, with the wick turned up, the steering gets heavier and the throttle gets quicker and the ride gets harder, which we will get onto in a moment. You can wring its neck and you don't go so fast you end up at, license losing speeds. I mean, it can do them, but it's just hilarious. The steering's decent, it's not the sharpest out there, and in sport mode, it just gets heavier. You don't get more feedback, it's just more effort to push it, which I do kind of like, but it's not necessarily heavy enough to make you feel like you're doing much of a job. The throttle's actually quite hard to modulate, not because it's a tricky pedal, no, it's nice and smooth and easy, but it's the seating position. You don't sit in the Abarth, more on it. I've tried to get the seat as low as possible, and I am not a tall person, as many internet commenters point out on a regular basis, but my foot is kind of like that against the pedal, so I'm kind of constantly uncomfortable trying to drive it quickly. Considering how hard it rides, it's not actually a huge surprise that it corners fairly flat, but it hasn't half got some grip, this thing. It's fantastic, because you can just pitch it in and play, and it puts a big old grin on your face. The stoppers, Brembos all round, those are pretty sweet as well. They do a decent job, and so far pedal hasn't managed to fade, and I've been driving like a bit of a knob all day. The gearbox is a 5-speed, which is increasingly rare, manual. Now, 2 things to note about this. The change is notchy but also a bit soggy, which is, I'm amazed at how Abarth has managed to do this, because you drop a cog and you think, oh, there's a nice notch to that, but then it goes a little bit limp and weird. But the clutch is fairly good, but also it comes with a comically oversized gear knob, which is brilliant, because you know exactly what you're grabbing. That could be misconstrued, and they'll probably keep that in. The acceleration this thing kicks out, it does kind of pin you back in your seat, and I love the look of it. Yeah, some of the plastics are a bit scratchy, but bear in mind this is a car that's been priced to scale from a 10 grand-ish hatch for everyone all the way to a proper hardcore hot hatch for proper hardcore hot hatch people. It has to be all cars to all people. So yeah, this is a bit nasty, but the carbon is pretty cool, and I do dig the leather seats. Okay, the infotainment leaves a lot to be desired, but in all, this little Abarth, it's not a marketing exercise, it's actually a pretty hardcore, quite good fun bit of kit. The ride is an issue. It's so stiffly sprung and damped. In normal mode, it's a little bit uncomfortable. In sport mode, which is where things get loud and angry and you want to play with it in, you'll take it to a country road, press the sport button, and you'll think, wow, this is going to be the best thing ever. But then you encounter a bump, and then everything becomes bad. Smooth, flowy country roads, who you face off, it's hilarious. Go to, say, a slightly rutted car park, and this happens. Some severely rutted territory. Is it going to be comfortable? Is it? No, it's not. No. Ow, 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 ow. It doesn't like bad roads at all, which is quite surprising considering Italy is mostly made up of terrible roads.
Mini has the Cooper S, Ford the Fiesta St, and Fiat the Abarth 500. It's a shouty, loud, in-your-face little car that oozes fun, and there's a reason that Abarth shifts so many of these things.
In certain bits of the UK, you cannot move for fast 500s, and I think part of their popularity is they're actually quite affordable. You see, if you go for the basic one with not all the power and definitely not all the bells and whistles you'll get on this, well, they're a little over £15,000. But then if you really want to go whole hog, you can drop more than 30 grand on one of these and get a 695 Biposto. So, you know, there's a fast 500 for pretty much everyone.
Choice is a wonderful thing, but what about looks? Okay, the Rivale is a little too much for my taste, but the shape is remarkably sorted. It's aggressive without being overdone, harking back nicely to the original car, but making it look purposeful.
So it's affordable, it's quick, and it's good fun, and it's even got a comedy large gear knob, which is just brilliant. But the thing is, at the moment, there are hot hatches falling out of everyone's ears. And this car has a problem, and that problem is the new Ford Fiesta St, one of the bestest out there. And it does all of that, being all cars to all people, without relying on different price points and different power outputs.
The hot hatch landscape is bigger than ever, with heavy hitters from all over the world, and the dinky little Fiat isn't the latest and greatest anymore. It's an ace car, sure, but is it enough to best the rest?
There is plenty of choice out there if you are looking for a new hot hatch, and let's be real for a moment, the Ford Fiesta St is probably the king of the hill. But the little Abarth 500 is not without its charms. It's good fun, it's fast, and it makes a hell of a good noise. It isn't perfect, not by a long shot, but its character and its soul and the way it makes you feel is going to be more than enough for most people.